Mailbox print and business center developers. Over 500 stores opened since 2004.
First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is JD. I want to welcome you all to the first teleseminar for Mailbox stores. It's just as exciting as it was in 2021 with even, more evidence of great opportunity as we move forward. So what I always like to do is just kind of lay out what we do, why this is, a great opportunity, if you in fact, are the right person to want to do this, and kind of what it takes to be successful. And I guess just lay out the, steps to get there, or the steps to help decide if in fact it is good for you or not good for you. Because I certainly want everyone to make the right decision for them and their family. And it's a great concept, a great opportunity. But I think the important thing is it has to be great for you. So hopefully I'm able to give you those, nuggets to decide if in fact this is good for you. So let's first start out as we look at 2022 to find out, so why open now? I mean, that's always the big question. It seems like we I can't even speak. We continue to go through the virus, different stages, different names. And, there's a very legitimate question on, wow, is now the time? Should I be opening now? So let me give you a couple numbers that are just facts. They let you know where the industry is going based upon where it is. So it really talks about two different areas. One is shipping and one is printing. As many of you, I am assuming, know that you can either do a concept that is strictly post and ship, or you can go on to the other concepts that's post and ship plus printing. It really depends on what you're looking to do. So let's first talk about shipping. Results for third quarter for the major industries, i.e. FedEx, UPS. Their revenues increased year over year, and this is during COVID, of course, and through all of the challenges of labor shortages, just everything that, created obstacles for us as citizens. Their revenue improved by 14%. FedEx just announced, was it 2 weeks ago, they restated what their forecasts were for 2022, and they increased it, went back to what it earlier was before they reduced it, which can be seen by the huge increase in their stock and the projections of it increasing, into the double digits year on year. So that just gives you this great indication of the shipping standpoint. And it was already at just under $80 billion total revenue. And they're already talking about a double-digit increase. Now let's talk about print. And I wanted to get some updated information, so I've done some research this last week. And all indications and all of the pundits and the experts are saying that they expect growth between now and 2025 to be 2.25% every year. And it was already a 75 billion US industry. So they're already saying that they're expecting it to be 2.25% increase over that every year annually. Now, just for 2022, they break it down a little bit, and the numbers are a little bit different because they obviously, for the expected growth, did some averaging. But the outlook for 2022 in the print industry, first quarter, they're expecting an 8 to 9% growth rate. Second quarter, 3.5%, and the third and the fourth quarter to be 6%. Now that's certainly over the 2.25% annually average that they did over the 5 years or the 3 years. But I think what it does is it just grab holds to what I talk about all the time when I talk to clients on that. What COVID has done to the industry is it's really let people know that there is great opportunities when they're working remotely or doing a hybrid of remote and work, that there's this opportunity for print and ship without having to go to the office to perform that in the neighborhood, and that continued growth. And it's really highlighted the importance of the mailbox print and business centers. Now, I figured, okay, well, that's all great. So one of the questions that's asked me is, sometimes we talk about remote workers. So what does that mean? And, how long is that going to last? Well, the expectation is that there's 36 million workers that will continue to be able and allowed based on the hybrid and changing of the work model in the U.S. 36 million workers are going to be long-term working remotely, which is 22% of the entire workforce of the United States. And they're projecting that that's going to continue. That isn't for 2022. This is the projection through 2025. That they're saying that what COVID has done is it's forced companies to reevaluate how they do business, because quite frankly, the workforce has forced the industries to reevaluate how they do their process. And that's so critical because that highlights what you provide as a mailbox print and business center. It highlights you more than ever before. And before all of this concept was doing wonderful. But I will tell you, as an organization, as the industry, this last year and a half has been the best year and a half of the concept and of the industry. I talked to owners that, I talked to one gentleman, and he was one of our first clients that we did a store, and it was the basic store 16 years ago. This last year, monthly and annually, was the best year he has had ever in his career with owning the store. And he's owned that store long, and he's strictly a post and ship store. He hasn't even added print because his site is smaller, and it's something that he doesn't want to do. And quite frankly, with the revenue he's doing, he doesn't find the need to do it because he's doing exactly what he wants to do. So that really, hopefully highlights how now is a great time to get a store. Sooner the better, but you got to do it at your own time. But now is a wonderful, exciting time to open up a mailbox store. So that's great. We know now that the concept is good. The industry's strong. It's projected to be very strong with consistent growth. So now is it for you? Are you the right person to invest your hard-earned money to be a mailbox owner? And, it really comes down to, well, do you have the traits, or are you willing to work to get the traits? And let's talk a little bit about what those are. Are you organized? Are you someone who can plot out your day, your week, without punching in the clock and someone saying, here's your tasks for the day, and then at the end of the day, you go home? Are you proactive? Can you plan a week in advance, 2 weeks in advance, 90 days in advance, put together a year plan, and then follow it with the understanding you need to be flexible because work is fluid and you're able to make those moves and adjustments? Are you a go-getter? Are you one of those people that's going to roll up your sleeves and, I grew up in the country, so you have to excuse some of these comments I make about dusting your boots off and pulling yourself up, things that we said growing up. But are you that person? Owning a business is never going to be easy. There's going to be ups and downs, peaks and valleys. Are you willing to take those valleys and use those as learning opportunities to be better tomorrow? Are you able to celebrate those victories, pat yourself on the back, recognize it, celebrate with the people, the family, the staff that you work with, and use that to catapult you on? Are you comfortable speaking in front of people? And we're not just talking customers, but that's important. Are you able to greet people when they walk in your store with a smile and a how's your day going? Are you able to get to know them so that they keep coming back and you ask about how, their dog's doing, how their kids doing with graduation, how's the family doing? And just as important, are you comfortable being able to go out to businesses and marketing your store, which is crucial to being successful? And I'm not saying doing an hour-long presentation. This is a 5-10 minute conversation where you quickly show them, hey, here's our portfolio is my business. Here's what I can do for you. Here's a 10% discount coupon on your first order. Come and see me. Come and ship with me. Let me earn your business, but come and see me first. Are you comfortable doing that? Because business to business advertising and networking is huge in growing and sustaining your great, great business. Are you strong willed? Do you have a stiff upper lip, a strong chin, being able to take a punch and keep moving forward? Are you willing to do what it takes to maximize your opportunities and to get a great return on your investment? Are you committed? Is this just something that you kind of doing as a whim? Or is this something that you say, not only am I going to be successful today and tomorrow, I'm going to be successful 2-3 years down the road. And heck, maybe I want to open 2-3 stores, or maybe I'm going to turn it over to my kids as they get older. Do you understand customer service? Do you have experience in customer service? And if not, are you willing to learn? Because yes, this is a service-oriented business, but it is driven by customer service. Customer service, we've talked a little bit about greeting, talking, selling your concept and your services, making sure that experience is great for somebody, having a great looking store, bright, clean, fresh, meet people with a smile no matter what the experience was, maybe with that upset client before that was just having a bad day and decided you were the person they were going to take it out on. That's critical. Customer service and selling your business to the other businesses, letting them know why they need to come to you. Other people and places like to shop at a local business. They like to support someone who's local, much more so than large corporate stores, because it has value. It means something to them. You are part of their neighborhood. And it's just so, so important. Are you determined to be successful? Is it something that you're going to say, no matter what happens, I'm getting through this, I'm going to be successful, and doggone it, this is going to be something I am so proud of. And to be able to look back and realize that hard work, those nerves that happen when you're trying to get a store open, that anxiety of, oh boy, I have to depend on me. Are you determined to get through that so that when you get to the other end, you can look back and have a smile and take a moment and really appreciate what you did and the people around you and that support system, what you all did to make that a great, great store. Those are things that are just so, so critical. They all kind of go together, and not everyone has each one of these. But each one of these, if you don't have, you can learn, you can get better, you can hire someone. If you're a little more introverted and more analytical, and not quite as outgoing, that part-time person you're going to hire, make sure they are. You're always hiring to fill those areas that maybe aren't your strengths. And then what you're able to do is, one, build your store through their strengths. You're also be able to build yourself through their strengths. Those are the best teams and the best stores. So that really is what it takes, and the mindset and the process in order for you to be the right person for a store. And I challenge everyone to think about it, to make sure, yep, I can absolutely do this. So now we've talked about the industry and the concept briefly. We've talked about, okay, so what are the characteristics of successful Mailbox business center owners. So, you know, why am I spending my time listening to JD? What is his company going to do for me? You know, why am I investing my valuable time listening to him and then going through the process? Let me kind of tell you how this process works. First of all, the company's been around for 26 years, and that's the overall company. There's, beyond Mailbox, there's other concepts. Mailbox has been around for 16 years. The foundation was built strictly on post and ship. Over the last, I'd say, 3-4 years, that has evolved to the post and ship is still the foundation. And now we've added print, large format printers, scanners, increased signage, industrial copiers with finishers and staplers. It depends, where you want to go. And you can even go beyond that and get sublimation machines, heat presses, additional mailboxes, additional POS. It really depends what you're looking to do, what your goals are, and what kind of that inline is of what you want to do and provide. So, first thing that happens is if you decide, after you think about this, and if I do a great job and really explain, how this is exciting and why it is that we're spending time on the phone discussing it. Then what you do is you talk to either Brent or Sean, and they'll hopefully talk about the exact same thing and even expand maybe on the things that we provide and what we do. Then you get in-house. You get assigned to a funding advisor. There's some basic documentation that we get, and we have, and a lot of people ask, we have every type of client who comes to us in a different situation. Some single, married, part of a group, come to us with 100% cash. Some come to us that they have some cash, but they're also going to need some funding help. Some who come to us who really have no cash, but have a great desire and a will to be successful and want to get through there. So either way, we have things that can help you through that. If you need funding, we get you connected with a third-party vendor and a funding broker, because we don't do that in-house. We have brokers that we get you through, and we've added a couple extra so that there's different options. And they can walk you through and they can present to you based upon, obviously, information, whether it be FICO score, whether it be debt to income, whether it could be depth of credit. All of that goes into play. And they can say, here's what we can get for you through their vendors and their banks and contacts. And then that helps you make the decision on what you need to do, because it isn't just to pay for the concept. Obviously, you need working capital to make sure that you're successful. So they walk you through and help you with that. Once you get to the point where, yep, the funding's good, you have your pre-qual, basically your financial ducks are in a row, then we assign you to our real estate department. So you would be assigned to a professional leasing manager, i.e. a real estate broker, and also a regional site locator. You'll have an initial intro call, which is a very, very detailed intro call. And what you're going to do is you're going to be introducing kind of who you are and what you're looking for. No one knows your area better than you. So you're going to be asked questions on how far out do you want to go? Is it 15 miles? Is it 30? Is it 40? Is it 10? What neighborhoods have you seen that you really want us to focus on? And a lot of times people come and say, hey, I've seen these 5 or 6 properties, really interested in, because this is a partnership when it comes to finding you that beautiful, great, site to help drive your business. They're going to talk to you about what they're going to do for you. You're going to be set up so that as they find sites and they get all of the information that goes with that, population, median income, traffic patterns, whether they're anchored, whether they're standalone, whether they're part of a strip center, whether it's in a mall, whatever it is, you will have access to all of that information through our proprietary website that we give you access to, that is so you can go in and see everything, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to make the decision on the site. We're going to give you all the information. We're going to coach you through. We're going to give you our opinion. but it's not our lease, it's yours. So you're going to say, I love this or I hate this. If you say it's not for me, you're going to tell us why, because we need to know as we keep going. So that's what they do. And as you narrow it down with us on what those sites are. They go through the process of a letter of intent, counters with that, then a formal letter of intent as we're getting to lease. You and the leasing manager discussing all of that, because they don't move forward without you saying, yep, let's go to this. Let's try this. Let's see what we can do here. They'll talk about, so what are you looking for square footage? What are you looking for triple nets? What is it that you're looking to pay monthly? And then we also talk through that. So if we find this great site, but it's maybe a little higher than what you want to pay. So we talk about, so what does that mean? So if it's $100 a month more than you were maybe comfortable with, so how many customers does that mean you need to do extra to cover that? And the fact is, a customer in Mailbox Stores averages about $30, $28 to $33 per transaction is the average. So if you're talking $100 a month, that's not even a customer a day, obviously. So we help break that down, because you have to be informed. You have to be aware of each of those moving parts. And then as it goes to lease, our leasing managers negotiate that lease for you. And they are your advocate. When they're on that phone, they fight like heck to get you the best deal, whether that is working hard, obviously, on the rent, working hard on free rent that we work very, very hard to get for you, working hard on potentially TIs if work needs to be done. If not, working to get the landlord to do it. Working on, what the increases may or may not be in year 2, 3, 4 of your lease. Working to make sure that it's ADA compliant and it's confirmed that it is zoned for the proper use. I mean, there is a litany of things that they are fighting for, and making sure that they review with you so that you are fully aware before you sign anything, and that you know exactly, everything that you need to know, so that you can make a decision on, yep, let's go forward. Let's go with this lease. This is my site. And so we go through that. At that point, then you get sent over to operations. I know it sounds like you go to a lot of different people, but we have very specific departments that are the experts in those fields, because as you go along, when you go to operations, you have a very detailed intro call in operations. And just so you know, that happens to be with me. That's one of the departments I've taken over. And so we go through that whole process of, what you need to do, as an owner legally. Obviously, there's things that you have to do, whether it be, an LLC, an incorporation, whether it be, making sure that your name is registered and no one else in that state has that name, making sure you have your EIN, your sales or state tax ID number, checking with City Hall in regards to certificate of occupancy, the fire marshal, because they'll have to do an inspection usually. We talk through that, and then we talk through the site and the preparation. And that's a continuous conversation and process you and I go through. I also have a team, obviously, that works with you in regards to banners, the uniforms that you get, the associations, the contacts for the things that you need to get set up, web pages, shred, those type of things. We continue to go through that. I happen to be also the one that collects the money on the payment, which then allows us to continue to move forward and schedule the date of the store setup based upon, obviously, availability of my team schedule and my folks that fly around the country and set up these stores, plus the work that has to be done in you being ready. At the same time, we also set up training. Our training for Mailbox is here in Las Vegas. The other concepts, they're able to do all of theirs online. Once COVID allowed us in Vegas to do in-house training, we were able to start doing that, which is, I believe, a year and a half ago. And so it's a 3-day training. We do it once a month. You get that information. You enroll with my Mailbox assistant, because I oversee that concept as well. And you go through that. So you fly in usually on Saturday, Sunday. Obviously, that's up to you, because you're taking care of that. And then training Monday, Tuesday is here at our corporate office with our trainer. And it is all operational. It is learning about shipping, about posting. we have the equipment that's in your store, so you get to do that and you learn. The gentleman who's doing that was the gentleman I talked about earlier, who we opened with him his store 16 years ago. He is an amazing trainer, incredibly open, and knows the business inside and out. Does a wonderful, wonderful job. I mean, Bill does just a great job. The third day is in the morning. It's social media training, which we added, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months ago. And our social media IT employee puts together a presentation so you really understand how to utilize social media to drive your business. And we found great value helping our clients with doing that. And then the second portion of that day, you go to the distributor and the owner's office that supplies all of the print. And he has all the equipment there. He does training. You get to do hands-on. He talks about marketing. You get to see the equipment. You do hands-on and really see how that works. We're just lucky enough his office and everything is here in Las Vegas. And so those are the 3 days of training. Prior to that, the software company that supplies all of the software for your POS systems, you're scheduled with them, and they do a 4 or 5 hour training where prior to that, you will have all the information where you can go on a link and kind of learn some of the POS information. And then they do a 4 to 5 hour training of the POS, which is wonderful. They're the experts, and they do that. It's the same thing when we're in your store setting it up. The people who supply the copier, a technician comes out, they schedule that with you while we're there, and they're teaching you how to use their copier. So you're getting the experts of all of this equipment and the distributors to teach you how to use it, which could not be a better way. So then that goes, you go back to your store, and then we've had a scheduled training that you and I have set up based upon the criteria we mentioned earlier. I let you know who the setup supervisor is going to be. They call you on the Friday before. They schedule a meet at your store on Sunday because they'll fly in either Saturday night or Sunday morning. You'll meet them. They'll walk the store. You give them a spare key, and Monday it starts. And we'll have our crew there. The trucks start coming every day. The guys get an update from Denise here in the office of what's expected that day. At the end of the day, we get an update of what arrived. We get an update on the good, the bad, the ugly of the day. We get pictures, so I know every day when I go home what that store looks like at that moment. From an owner's responsibility during that week, Monday is we all, and I apologize, when we go over this, you're going to say, JD, I've already heard this. But on Monday, that's the day I tell people, hey, stop by at 3 just to see how things are going. The goal is that day is all about just the fixtures. There's nothing you're going to learn, nothing you can participate that day. Now, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I expect you as the owner or if someone else is going to be running the store, you need to be there 2-3 hours a day. And that is an absolute expectation. If you don't do that, I'm just going to tell you right up front, you're setting yourself behind 6 months on being successful. And, at the end of the day, it's your money. You can do that. It's a terrible, terrible decision. On Friday, you need to be there 5 hours. That is where you're doing all sorts of stuff. You're getting comfortable. You're making sure, you can ask any questions because pretty much everything ideally is done close to being done or final stages. That's where that store setup supervisor and you have great conversations. Now, earlier in the week, once your computer gets set up and uploaded by the company that we do that with, then you have to go into the computer, check all the pricing, because in the system, when it's uploaded, it's the same pricing, for everybody, obviously. Well, if you live in Fort Lauderdale, you may want your pricing on some of the services or the retail items different than, say, if you live in Boise, Idaho. And so you'll need to change that before we can price the retail stuff. So, that is how that goes. Ideally, assuming there's no bumps in the road, your store is ready for a soft open that Saturday. So you go from an empty store Monday to a store that ideally you're opening on Saturday. Your grand opening's 2-3 weeks later. And the reason for the difference, A soft open, you're going to send out flyers, you're going to let people know, you're going to open your doors, have cash in the drawer, and you want to start making money. A grand opening, that may be ribbon cutting, chamber of commerce, advertisement on the internet, maybe radio, maybe barbecue, whatever it is. The reason that you need to separate those, one, you want to have a couple weeks of, getting your sea legs under you before your grand opening. Because there's always a difference between learning. And could you please put your phone on mute? I would really appreciate it. Thank you. And actually doing it. There's a difference. And so there's a learning curve. The other thing is, the reason you have a soft open is there's so many things towards the end of the process that are not controllable, say, by me, that not always is that store going to open on the Saturday. If there's a snowstorm that shuts down or delays freight, as much as I'd love to, I can't control that. If, there is a delay or shutdown or an outbreak of COVID in different cities, states, or vendors, can't control that. A truck breaks down, driver issues, whatever it is. And I always mention that to people because they're just things that I just don't control. And, and you'll see as we go through that process, if it happens, I don't get uptight about it because, again, I know I don't control it as much as I wanted to. Years ago, I would get, pull out my hair and my face would get all red and my neck would puff out and, no one would know I was upset. But then I realized, okay, so what have I solved? I didn't make the snow melt. I didn't make that truck not break down. It's still going to be what it's going to be. So that's why there is that soft open compared to a grand opening. So that from a store setup, real estate, finance, operations, training, that's what Mailbox Stores does for you. Now let's talk a little bit about kind of the concepts and what it is and what you get. So as we talked about, you have that intro or the value package, which is post and ship. It has, and all of them have, it's kind of a waterfall. So the second package includes everything from the first plus. The third, obviously, everything from number one, number two. So obviously you get all the fixtures, the cabinetry, the slat wall, the mailboxes, the retail, the hooks, the signage, the copier, the laminator, the passport process, the fax machine. I mean, that's what you're getting. We go through the process so that, you get everything set up through USPS. Obviously, you're going to make sure that store area has a market need with FedEx before you even sign a lease. So, that's what you get. And it's all about post and ship. Then if you go to the next package, which is a standard package, it's the same thing as above, except this, I give you different links, and you get to pick the finishes of your countertops and the furniture. This is one of the two concepts that gets to do that. We have the fixture company deals with one vendor that offers, a significant number of different finishes for the top. Another company offers you that for the body of the cabinetry, and the same thing with the computer work areas, the customer table. They all have the same finish, the framing that goes around the mailboxes, and you get to pick them. So it is, you're branding your store so it doesn't look like any store, and you get to do that. You're going to then get an upgraded interior signage. They're a little bit different colors, so you get that. Then I guess the meat and the potatoes of this is you get the large format printer, 44-inch 9-color printer. You get the 13-inch color printer as well, because that'll do your photos. That will do your business cards. Then you also get a mobile scanner. What you're going to use that for is, let's say you have some jobs with some architects and they have a big project coming up and some timelines, and you're able to go to their office. They run their blueprints through your scanner. You take it back to your store. You run it through your printer, and there you go. They come and pick it up. We pay your first year subscription for your printing software. Instead of $5,000 of retail inventory, you get $7,500. You get a upgraded computer that goes with at a computer center that goes with that large format printer. The commercial copier has a trimmer on it. It's a workstation that the others don't. So there's that. Then as you go to the third package, again, everything I've just talked about, now you're going to add a commercial sublimation multi-use printer and heat press. What this does is it allows you to do printing on tumblers, mugs, cups, hats. You know, the other one, obviously you can still print screens and everything so people can put those on their uniforms and shirts. Sublimation with the heat, it kind of infuses it into the fabric. It's a whole different process. So you get all of that. You get additional, obviously, you get the startup materials in both of these concepts, obviously, for the print. You get a second POS system. You get an additional set of mailboxes. So in the other two concepts, you get 130 mailboxes. In this concept, you get 260. And then there's obviously some additional equipment that goes with the POS and, of course, cabinetry that goes with that because it takes more space. So those are the packages. If you're wondering, okay, well, it's great, so which one do I do? You know, that's a determination you'll have to make. One, you know, what are you able or willing to spend? You know, what investment do you want to make? Second, you know, what do you want to do? Do you want to go all in? Do you want to start slow? What is it that you want to do? You know, and that's what you determine. Now, let me answer a question that it seems always gets asked is, so what type of space do I need, or what type of space are my leasing managers and you're going to be looking for? Really anything from the value package, we've put them in 650 square foot, 700 square foot, 800 square foot, 1,000 square foot. That easily takes care of that, comfortable, ADA compliant. It's good. As you go to the other two concepts, again, we just did one today and the owner signed off on it. It is an 800 square foot store. It's going to be amazing. Open ceilings, you know, industrial look. It's very, very cool. It's 850 square foot, and she's doing the standard package, which includes all that large format printer, and it fits beautifully. You know, and we do 1,000, 1,200, you know, folks, and it depends on, you know, obviously rent, location, and what you want to do. I have one gentleman, we're finalizing his lease. I was just told before this call, it looks like final lease will be done next Tuesday, Wednesday. He actually is getting a 2,500 square foot store, extremely large. But what he has decided to do is he's going to have the premium package, but then he's also then going to create a couple, as a general contractor, they're putting in a couple conference rooms, setting them up with audio, video, and he's going to be renting out conference rooms, which I have a client actually who's building a site. I just talked to her today as well, and she's doing the same thing where she's building it from ground up. In fact, I believe she told me that the shovel went in the dirt today to start finally, and she's going to have two different sized conference rooms to lease out and rent out for meetings. So it really depends what you're looking for. Heck, I had another client who has 75% of their store mailbox, and after we opened and everything else, they decided, oh, we have this extra space. They got together with us, and we created a little a balloon center where they have a whole separate counter, completely separate, a balloon wall, a balloon corral, because they didn't have any Party City or any party store in their area, and they're doing really well, and it's driving in additional clients and clientele for their mail and print store. So, you know, it really, you know, it depends what's out there and what you're looking to do. But like I said, we've gone everywhere from 650 square foot up to this one we're doing now that's somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500. I haven't seen the final square footage completely plotted out yet. So, you know, that's how that's there. So now next question that I get asked a lot. So JD, how much money am I going to make? And, you know, all I can do is be honest and say, well, I don't know. I can tell you what the industry averages are. I've told you how you can make money. We have concepts that help drive that, but let me tell you what the averages are. And obviously, they're going to be different. You'll have one average for the post and ship, because obviously you're not bringing in the revenue for the print. And then you'll have another one for the print. Now, a couple points prior to that. This is not happening month one. You have to build your brand. You have to market. You have to get off that office chair, market your business, put your feet to the pavement, get out there, meet people, have a plan on the phone, market your business, build your brand, get those consistent businesses that you do things for them every month, and then you continue to build on that. But the industry average, this isn't just our stores, this is the industry average for post and ship. Those stores are averaging pretty much up to $15,000 to $18,000 top line revenue for the, and that's a month, by the way. For the print, that goes all the way up to, now I haven't talked to anyone yet about their December numbers, but that goes all the way up to about $50,000 a month. Now, again, please understand that's the high end. The average on that is going to be anywhere, say, between 20 to 30, 20 to 35. And again, I can have 10 people running stores. 5 of them can be just nailing the numbers, and the other 5 are getting by because all they do is they sit on their stool and they watch cable TV. And I'm not being cruel. I'm not being mean. I'm just being honest. This isn't like the TV show, build it and they will come. This isn't Field of Dreams. You need to make them come. You need to bring them in. And that's where you roll up your sleeves. You're dedicated, you're committed, and you're strong-willed to drive that business. And that's how that happens. So if the next question is great, that's top-line revenue. What's my flow-through? Well, the great thing about Mailbox compared to, say, a retail store, your staffing is very small. It could be just you and your family, or it could be you have 1 or 2 part-time individuals, maybe a part-time key holder, because you don't want to open and close every day, and then another part-time person that's there during peak hours. That's a lot different than having 5 to 10 employees. Your space is smaller, so your rent is less. Your utilities are less. Your supplies are less because there's less supplies to buy. Your flow through is going to be, say 60%, and it could be better. And that depends so much upon labor, obviously. The other nice thing about this, yes, there's some retail there. There is always that customer service retail mentality. Quite honestly, I think in any business that you need to have those things. But you're not working, and your store isn't open 8 to 8, 7 days a week. We hear a lot, and a lot of us probably feel, we want a life-work balance. You want to be able to enjoy what you've invested. You want to return on your investment, not just in revenue, but quality of life and family time. Whether that means being able to go to the symphony, the orchestra, an opera, a ball game, watch your sons, your daughters, your partners, your husbands, your wives, whatever it is, in sporting events, athletic events, community plays, whatever it is, or just sitting home and watching TV. You want to be able to do that. The great thing is Mailbox in this type of business offers that. Really the industry average, Monday through Friday, most folks open 8, 8:30. We're open maybe till 6:30. Saturday, 8 to noon, 8 to 1, closed on Sunday. Now, are there people that are open part-time on Sunday, a little extended on Saturday? Sure, but the average is what I told you, and that's what most folks do. And you kind of get a flex out a little bit based upon the demands of your area. And the great thing is you decide. I don't decide. So, a corporation doesn't decide because this is yours. This is a JD Incorporated. This is your business. So you decide what that is. I'm more than happy to talk about it, give you ideas, give you opinions. Hey, here's what other folks are doing. At the end of the day, you get to decide. Same thing when it comes to if you're picking out the color, let's say your landlord's going to paint your walls or do your flooring, or you are. You get to decide. I'm not going to say, all right, you need to have brown carpeting and you're going to have eggshell walls, and that's what's going to happen. You get to decide it is yours. You're developing your brand. And, I've had people that have done, the laminated hardwood flooring. I've had them do the tile. I've had them do carpeting. We certainly give examples and ideas on different ones. It depends what you want to spend. It's obviously crazy if you're going to go spend $2,000. That doesn't make sense. Same thing on the walls. I've had people that have done pastel colors with a feature wall. Light yellows, light blues, light grays, tans, eggshell. You get to decide, what it is you love. You also get to decide as you are creating your store. I had a client in, I want to say Colorado, and I know I'm wrong, that they actually had a little larger store, and they ended up through the because there's farmland and ranches all over. They have a sit down like not cafe but a coffee place where the counter that they had put in there and they had made is, I think he told me it was a like 300-year-old tree that was cut, and it has the knots, and they left the bark on the outside, and they have that, and they have leather chairs, and then they have sliding barn doors, and I mean it's just the coolest thing. It's just you get to decide, and you can expand on it a year from now, 2 years from now, to show your personality and to do what you want. It's yours. That's what you get to do. And quite honestly, that helps make you be successful. I'm not telling you what to do. You get to do what you want to do. It's going to be your store, and you're going to decide, what colors you want. Now, if you say, "Hey, JD, I'm going to paint the wall black," I have no problem being incredibly honest. I'll ask you if you've lost your mind, because you don't want to have a cave. But again, you wrap your arms around it. You take advantage of your passion and your desire, and you use that to drive your store. So let me just give you a few little, tidbits in regards to, because I've talked about the revenue in regards to print. Let me give you examples of how you get there. Banners, you're charging $60, $70. Business cards for $250, you're charging $19.99. So you're charging $19.99 on business cards. It's costing you $1.29 for that product. I don't know if you know what I mean when I say canvas art. So I have one in my office that was one as I was learning how to do it that I did. And it is, an 18 by 12. It took me, and I'm not artistic, and it took me about 5-6 minutes. I downloaded the picture. It happened to be my wife and I were on vacation. I downloaded the picture to the template in the app that you have access to through the print center. They go to an app, they download it, takes a minute, and then you upload that, and it prints it out on the canvas paper, and then you put it together, and then there's different sizes. There's the different borders that can either fade out. It can have, I believe it's a gray that's on the borders. It can be a black, and those borders get kind of folded over the frame, and that's behind it. Those retail, which I was just stunned when I found out, a year or so ago. Those retail for $69.99 everywhere you go. Now, I'm not just talking mailbox stores. That's everywhere. It costs you less than $8 for that product. So you have those examples. Then you can also do wrapping paper. The feedback I've got is a lot of realtors, a lot of doctors, a lot of different organizations do that, not just during the holiday season, but different times of years. Realtors will, they give out gifts or congratulations or to businesses that have opened, and also during the holidays. And what they do is they download all of their new listings on the wrapping paper. So not only are they thanking, current people or people that they've worked with, they're also using it as a tool to sell. It has yard signs. You can do lanyards. I know, here in Vegas and other places, as COVID came along, a lot of restaurants went to disposable menus that they have for a day or so, and then they replace them. They got to get them somewhere. You're able to do that. We have a lot of other individual owners that have set up a monthly deal to where, say, a police union, during their meetings, they have flyers and they have handouts that they do. They get made there all the time. I have another owner that I've talked to, and they do it for a hospital. Um, Fairs for events. You do portraits. You have it set up where people can come in and download their senior pictures or the pictures that they've taken themselves and create their own portfolio of senior pictures instead of going and spending $1,000 or more for senior pictures. Now, the great thing in how that works out is you have your large format printer, you have your computer center next to it. It has templates. So a client comes in, and the print center is really customer service, and they do it. You do the last 10%. They do all the rest, which again, you're driving revenue, but you're not having to spend labor. They come in, they go to the app that happens to be what they want. They click on it. It pulls up templates. It's either a blank template where they can do it all themselves and move stuff, and get whatever they're doing how they want, or it gives all sorts of examples where you just click and point and you inlay it on how you want. So it's already done, saves a lot of time. They do all of that. They come up to you. They pay you. It gets printed, and away they go. And so, again, it's incredible high quality. It's consistent, and it's not costing you labor because it's self-serve very, very much. You have rental computers that people can come in, rent the time if they're doing, a college student that needs to do a paper and needs a place to do it. They don't have that at home. Someone who needs to do a term paper, someone who needs to do a presentation at work, their computer's gone down. You have that. We already talked about the regular commercial copier. You do passport pictures. You do faxes. Yes, there's still people out there that require faxes. So you do all of that, to drive business and to continue to grow your business. So that's how you get the revenue beyond the FedEx and the UPS, assuming you're able to get both of those. And notaries. We obviously suggest that you're a notary because there's great revenue and people need that all the time. And again, as we go back to what we talked about at the beginning, this has been highlighted in our country and probably the world so much by remote work, the forced change of industry, and how that is not going back. It will continue to grow because that is, quite frankly, what the workforce is demanding. It has put a light and a focus on this industry, and those people that are getting into it early and getting into it now, boy, they're just reaping the benefits. I talked to a gentleman today that we did his store 3-4 months ago, and he was referred to us by someone that lived about 2 hours away that he knew, who we had done his store before that. And I was just talking to Brian today, and I guess they're finalizing it, and there's a town that's about 40 miles between them, and it looks like we're going to be doing a third store for them because their 2 stores are doing so well and they've enjoyed it so well. And it really was, not only did it meet their expectation, it went well beyond, which obviously that's because of the team that works here. All these great employees that are dedicated to you to do a great job. They did such a nice job that they were talking to me today about working and kind of laying the groundwork so that we can start working on an additional store that they're going to do as partners. So that's kind of our concept, what we do. That's how we support you. So I would love, because there's no way I was able to answer everything that's in your minds, your family's mind. Please open it up, start asking me questions, and I will do my very, very best to answer it to the best of my ability. So please, anyone has a question, please ask. Okay, it's way too silent. There's no way I was able to answer everybody's questions. I'm not even close to that good. Thank goodness. Thank you.
Hi. That was wonderful. Great information. Thank you so much. So my question
pleasure.
is, and and not because I'm lazy. I really want to do this. I really want to be part of the experience,
Yeah.
but I do.
Yeah.
I would like to hire people to work, my store. So is it, how long
Yes.
would you say that I would have to actively work the store before I pass it on and have maybe like 2 employees that work, one in the morning, one at night, to where I'm just kind of the owner coming in, just making sure things are right, handling logistics and stuff, but I actually
Right.
have, employees present.
Sure. And I guess that depends on the employees you get and your comfort level. So, you get someone who has experience in the industry, and that has done this before. It's just whatever you're comfortable with, whether it be 90 days down the road, what have you. I have some folks that have absolutely done that because quite frankly, they wanted to keep their current job, and have this as an investment. So it
Right.
comes down to correct hiring. And I apologize that this answer is so basic, but it's the truth. Correct hiring. And you're still going to want to have follow-up checks in place. My suggestion is still, and it's just me, I would still suggest that, you're in there, maybe 10 hours a week. Because one, they need to see you and it's your investment. And once you get more and more and more comfortable, maybe that isn't the case. But heck, I'm talking to a gentleman now, and we're working through real estate. His 2 daughters are pretty much going to run it 100%. I do not have any indication he's going to work there at all. His 2 daughters both are working for UPS right now. So again, that goes back to the experience that they're going to go there and they're already going to know what to do.
Right. Right. Okay.
So
That really answered my question. That was a great answer.
Okay. Who else has a question? Oh, thank you.
I got a question.
Okay.
I got a question. What do they charge for them mailbox rentals?
Depending upon, so there's the monthly, there is the, 6 months in a year, and you get to fluctuate that, but really it comes down to, some do it anywhere from, monthly, it can be $8, $10, $12, $6. When they do it annually, they can get it down to where it's, whether it be $20 for the quarter, and you get to charge whatever you want. So one of the things we always challenge owners to do, because every community is different, is check your competition. Because if someone's charging, let's say, I don't know, $10 a month as an example, you don't need to be charging $5 a month. That's crazy. Charge $9.50. So that one really is up to you, and it goes back to that whole deal of you're the owner. You get to decide what that number is. But that's just where that local research is going to be required for you, so you know.
That's a good.
Any other question?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, sir. Okay, go ahead.
I had a question. How much more is it upgrade to the package where you have the option to print the mugs and the t-shirts and stuff?
Yep. Yeah, and I guess I didn't talk about the money on each one, did I? So let me tell you all three, so that if someone has a question on the other. So the value package is $89.9. The standard package, which is that that plus a large format printer, and the scanner and everything that we talked about, that's $111.9. The one you're asking about is $135.9.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
When you're looking for the location, how do you determine the locations, or what are we supposed to look for when you're looking for the locations, or do you? Quite a bit of criteria. We look at some of the things I talked about. We look at anchored sites. We look at traffic flows. We look at median incomes. We look at neighborhoods, as in residential, what is the population? We look at obviously competition. No one's going to suggest that you have a mailbox store next to UPS or next to another, FedEx office. You're going to look at, so is it on a roadway that, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 people pass daily. What is the traffic flow getting in and out? Is it a one-way street? Is it two-way? How many entrances are there? We're going to look at the condition of the site. And these are all things that are going to be presented to you, and we're going to give you our opinion. Is it next to a Publix, which is a large grocery store that does $1 million a week, or is it there? Is it next to a Walmart? Is it next to other even small businesses that their foot traffic is going to force people to come to you? So it's all of that is looked at, the size of it. How well is it seen from the street? The visibility from different locations. All of that is stuff that's looked at. Is that part of town alive, and it is growing, and it's kind of where it's going to, or been revitalized, or is it part of a town that is dying and the population is moving away? All of that comes into play.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
My question is, if you decide that you want to go and you're really knocking it out the park with the printing, and you need additional equipment, you need another printer, is that offered at any discounted rate, or do you have the ability to purchase another printer or two more printers?
You could. Well, and what we've had done is, obviously when I deal with the distributor, we're going to get a different rate than you as an individual. So that's where you would call to me and say, hey, JD, I'm really looking to get a second large format printer or what have you. I talked to my distributor, and we'll get it for the same price that we got it for originally, where if you went to get it, you're going to pay about $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 more.
Okay.
And we have people that will do that. Some we have that say want to start with a value package, and down the road they come to me and they say, hey, what's it going to cost me to increase and just get the basics of the next package, not all of the stuff, but just some of the print package. And I the last one I did, now this was a few months ago, because prices have certainly gone up since then, but it was, I don't know, was it 16.5 I think is what they got it, where if they would have tried to get it themselves, I believe I was told it was 23,000. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. I have a question.
Okay, good.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, my question is, you were saying that the first package is $89.99. Is that with the working capital, or is just for the first part of the?
That is strictly the package. We always suggest people have $10,000, $15,000 working capital beyond that, but this is strictly the package for all of everything that I explained earlier. That's strictly the concept package price.
So you say you're supposed to have extra $20 to $30, or?
No, I didn't say that. I said that we suggest that working capital is anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000.
Okay,
now, I've certainly had people that have had $8,000, $9,000, but obviously you want to be able to have enough to build your brand, to go through the process, and not be hanging on by your nails as you get your company started and going.
Okay. Thank you.
I think someone else. Yeah, my pleasure. I think someone else had a question at the same time.
Yes, I did, about the financing. Who do we speak to about that, or when do we speak to someone about that?
So as I was mentioning, once you talk to Sean and Brent and you decide that you're going to, I guess, dip your toes in the pool, there's that $500 deposit, and then they assign you, and you talk to your funding advisor within 1 to 3 days, just based upon scheduling and what their workload is. But then you get assigned to one of our funding advisors very quickly.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Anything else? All right. Well, I don't want to take up your time. I know how valuable it is, week after the holidays. First of all, thank you so much for your time. I wish you all a very safe and very happy New Year as we've gone forward. I look forward to working with, as many of you as we can. You come in the house. Sadly,
I guess, dependent upon it, you're going to have to talk to me a lot because you work with me from beginning to end. And, I just really am, hopefully you can tell how committed I am to this concept and what it's done because I've seen the positive impact it's had on the lives of just some great, great people. So thank you so much for your time. You all have a very, very wonderful evening. Good night, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.